This is the Bar Stewards Inquiry, Midweek Madness.
Please, I'm begging you live on television here tonight. Please go back to Top Town and drink all your money here tonight, please.
Hello and a big warm welcome. Yes, a warm welcome indeed. It's that time of year where it's rather chilly. But we're going to certainly lift some spirits here on Midweek Madness because the topics involved this week are racing questions and, of course, the Bar Stewards Cookery Club. And you'll be thinking, what on earth are you talking about cookery for? Well, I can tell you that in a lot of our private chats, me, John, Nick, all I see is John and Nick talking about food and how they cook it and what they do and everything else. So I'm thinking, we need to get these pair of fucking cunts on the show and let's share the wisdom, because I'll tell you what, these lads are certainly not behind the door when it comes to cooking a bit of roadkill or any good meat for that matter. So joining me tonight, it's John Lang, Nick Davis and Lorne Malvo to chew the fat over the Bar Stewards Cookery Club. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
We'll start the show off then in true question fashion. It came through late, this one. Luke Tucker. Which trainer would host the best Christmas dinner? All the trimmings, no mucking about. Who would you want to go to? Who do you think could get it right? And which trainer would host the shittest?
Norma McCauley for the food. She's not a trainer anymore, but I reckon she'd do a good fucking spread, don't you think?
Is she dead?
Yeah. Well, not now, obviously. I think it's tailed off slightly since her death, but I think while she was alive and kicking, I reckon that'll be a good spread.
Yeah. John, I actually think Mick Easterby's would be good, because what had happened there is that Mick could get up donations and
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
top class meat sent him, and he'd have everybody
Yeah.
fucking yard cooking it for him and all.
Yeah, he would do, yeah. Horrible old bastard, yeah.
I reckon Jenny Pittman would have been the worst.
Oh, yeah.
That reminds me of that when we had Richard Pittman on.
He said he had no trouble keeping the weight off, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He'd been a naughty boy and he'd been out all night or something, and she'd locked him out. She left his Sunday dinner on the front porch, the doorstep. It's reminded me of that. Poor Richard Pittman. Imagine crossing her.
Oh.
Great days. So, John, anything more to add to that in terms of which trainer would you book yourself round at and which one would you avoid?
I think if I was forced to attend a Christmas dinner with a trainer, God help me, I can't think of anything worse to do.
No.
I think I'd probably try and wangle it in right to Joe Muller's, because it'd be a liquid lunch.
Yeah. Depends whether you like food or drink, isn't it? That would qualify the question. If you like drinks, there's more options.
I think I'd just go to Joe's and get plastered, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That is the best Sunday lunch. It is a liquid lunch. I completely agree. Abandon all plans for dinner and just drink lots and lots.
Get langered, yeah.
Langered.
Yeah. Yeah, get langered, yeah.
Absolutely. So, good question. Now, on to racing questions before we start on the full cookery club. And Luke Tucker, I'm allowing you 2 questions.
Ooh.
Jockey Club being skin, they will inevitably start selling race courses sooner rather than later. Which one do you guys think will be sold first? What's the sweepstake?
Ooh.
Kempton again?
I was just going to say, I think Kempton's probably a potential skate park in the hood, isn't it? Don't you think?
Not really the hood. It's Sunbury-on-Thames, old chap. It's not too bad.
It's a hood.
It's not the hood. Good lord.
Honestly, when we went to the Braes up there, it's a fucking hood.
That's not a hood. Sunbury isn't a hood. It's by the Thames. It's quite genteel, Sunbury. It's not too bad. It's not the Bronx, is it?
Well, I've seen worse down there.
It wasn't so clever where we stopped, was it, like?
No, it weren't.
Are you sure you went to Kempton?
It was only across the road.
You sure you didn't end up like fucking Broadwater Farm Estate or somewhere?
Yeah, we're at Premier Inn.
Yeah, we're only across the road from the track.
Premier Inn's that much cop holiday.
Shit.
Yeah.
The-
Fucking Lenny Henry standing around there. You don't want to go there, do you?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'll add to this convo by saying that Dido Harding was appointed at the Jockey Club, I think, for the sell-off. I genuinely think that's what she's there to do. She isn't there to improve things at the Jockey Club or to make things better in racing.
She never ever improved anything anywhere, has she? Her presence
No.
can only hamper progress.
Well, only her own bank balance has improved considerably.
Things improve after she's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to be a fire sale, and it's when they discover some of the paintings have already been sold and they've put fakes up.
dogs playing poker and all that.
Yeah. I think Dido's there to facilitate that. And I would, at the top of the betting, I'm actually going to be controversial and say
Go on.
Leicester will go before
Yeah.
Kempton.
Okay.
Yeah, might do. I've forgotten about Leicester. Everyone forgets about Leicester.
Yeah, cool. Fucking horrible place, Leicester, isn't it? Dreadful.
Oh, yeah, it is. The worst part about Leicester Racecourse is the facilities haven't been upgraded.
Since the Boer War.
No, it's very basic. I'll be honest, it is quite a disappointing racing experience going to Leicester. I don't leave there thinking, oh, great facilities, great people. It's in a place called Erdby. I think it's towards the outskirts of Leicester.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
They've already sold some of the land at Leicester, I believe, anyway. And I think there'll be more to come with that. I think Leicester's fav for me, and I think Kempton is probably second in. And Dido Harding's one of them that will be able to renegotiate planning deals. She's got fingers in pies. She'll convince planning commissions.
She'll certainly reduce the price if she thinks they're getting too much for it.
Absolutely. Definitely. A massive fire sale at the Jockey Club. So I'm saying Leicester and Kempton. Any other suggestions?
Nottingham's not well attended now, is it? Is that a jockey club, isn't it?
Nottingham has about 3 days a year where they get a decent crowd.
Yeah, apparently the last meeting of the year was disappointing in terms of numbers, but it wasn't great weather. Nottingham used to be well attended. I don't think it's as well attended now, which is strange because its location is pretty central and you'd expect more business there. Especially as Southall seems to get a lot more than Nottingham for some bizarre reason. Southall is a very popular racecourse with really good attendances. So that obviously that's ARC, not Jockey Club. But yeah, I would say Kempton, Leicester, and like Nick says, maybe they'll look to something that is like not getting great crowds, a jumped course perhaps. Could be Bangor on D. A Bangor on D Jockey Club?
Yeah, it's so bad. That's shit, isn't it?
Yeah, Fakenham perhaps?
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to live near there?
Well, we've got a lot of guests coming into Britain at the moment. They might want to stick them.
Even they don't want to live up there.
I know. Great question anyway. The front two, I think, in the market, I think we're all pretty unanimous that it's going to be Kempton and Leicester. Next question. James has been on and he said, when was the first time each of you thought this game is fucked in relation to the crackdown of gambling in recent years? Myself, John and Chris have been doing the sermon now for a long time. And I would say 3.5 years ago, the prediction was unless direction of travel changed, then we were absolutely doomed. As well, for me, it was the first time I got affordability checked by Betfair Exchange. And I'm thinking, right, well, why are you affordability checking an absolute long-term lifetime winner? Some very strange decision-making going off. So I thought then it was a little bit disingenuous. And I thought, if that's what they're going to do and get rid of successful people who provide the liquidity on the exchange, then there will be no liquidity on the exchange. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. Liquidity down by 2/3 and will continue, of course, to decline. It has to do with compliance teams continually justifying their existence by implementing further restrictions on punters. And that will only carry on and carry on and carry on. They're not sat there painting the nails. They've got to do something and justify why they're actually in a compliance team. John, would you agree with much of that in terms of like when we sort of spotted it back in the day?
Yeah, pretty much. If you want to go back a bit further, I maybe caught a whiff of it when Channel 4 Racing had the big revamp and they went out the way to recruit the presenter who had single-handedly destroyed BBC racing coverage.
Balding.
I thought to myself, we are in the hands of lunatics here.
Old Glenn Leuven's Celtic centre off there destroying racing's coverage.
Yeah.
Rick Davis, when did the reality set in with you?
It was a shock when I came back from Greece in the mid-00s. It always seems to sort of boom and bust. And I thought, there's far too many meetings. There's far too many races. I thought this can't be sustainable in the long run. There's a big dash for gold, I thought. I always had this thing with the internet. It's so easy to place a bet and it's so easy to be traced. I thought it would become more and more difficult. The easier it is for you, the easier it is for people to trace you and track you.
Yeah.
It's like the bookmakers are where racing isn't as popular. Well, if you promote other things over racing for the last 15 to 20 years, it's like saying that we're not selling much crack because we've been flogging heroin for the last 15 years and pushing that.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. You could even, if you wanted to sort of take an even longer view, the restrictions on stake, if you're talking about how Big Corp first started to get its grips into the game via restricting punters. I remember my first restricted bet was in about 2005, and that was sort of 40 quid bet cut down to sort of 15. And it didn't bite into a lot of punters until a good few years later. But they were sort of trialing that in about 2005, 2006, when I had a very good card, courtesy of a certain individual in Sheffield. And that was sort of starting to bite then. At that point, I was thinking, crikey, I'm not very clever. I'm not a shrewd punter. So why are they restricting my modest stakes then? To sort of from 40 quids down to 15, that's plainly mad. And at the time, I thought, well, it's just been singled out. But that was clearly the first signs that Big Corp had got its sort of hooks into the game. But I think the most troubling aspect now is the acceleration in the direction of travel. Yes, 3 years ago, well, not me, but yourself and John correctly predicted the scenario we find ourselves in now. But in the last few months, they're really doubling down now. You can see things are getting worse and worse much more quickly than I think many of us feared. So I'm even more pessimistic now in 2024 than I was maybe 2, 3 years ago.
Indeed. The show will get better, folks.
This is the highlight. This is the happy bit. Yeah.
It is the apocalypse, of course, but
Yes, quite.
we're the band. We'll
To the boiling seas and,
Yeah.
and the seals are broken and Armageddon comes.
keep
Yeah.
on playing until the ship goes down.
I want to go fuck in the lifeboat, mate. Fuck you.
You'll be like the geezer in Titanic that dresses as a woman and pushes all the fucking women and kids
Yeah,
out of the way to go on the boat. That'd be me, yeah.
I don't like the cold.
No, Billy Zane, isn't it, the character there? He dressed as a woman and shoved everyone out of the way and paid his way on the boat, didn't he?
Nick, question. You loved a shop run, didn't you?
Yeah.
When did the shops start going downhill for you in terms of like not wanting to know accommodating you for your 20, 30 quid a shop or whatever?
It's really, really dependent on staff. You bung them a few quid, but now all the shops are virtually all the ones near me are closed. They've become Admiral and Mercer. So I'm finding it more and more difficult. I mean, I'm only having 50, 100 quid on a race at a time, but about 4 or 5 years ago, it always has been a little bit, especially if you hit a manager who's on a bonus or something like that, and then you get scowled at as if you buggered their Labrador. I'd say the last 2 to 3 years, as the shops close, your avenue's getting narrowed.
It's interesting listening to you because obviously like, you're the test case in terms of doing the old school shop raids, got the handicap pick on Saturday, and you're going around Friday night.
Only Baldies will lay me at night now. They won't lay me for much.
Right. So there you go. So that's it, James. Good question. JW's been on. Any early thoughts on the 2025 classics for us to look forward to get us through the boring jump shit? John, what's the one you've spotted that you like a lot? The Oaks film.
Rafe Beckett's Smoking.
Yes, the one that won the
Montrose. She really took me eye when she won at Nottingham and she beat Archivist of Michael Stout, who I thought brought a very solid level of maiden form into that race, having chased home the subsequent Futurity 4th seaplane.
Yeah.
I thought he was a very, very solid I-80s horse going into that. And she was absolutely running all over him as very furlongs out.
Yeah.
There was a bit of inexperience kicked in. She was still inexperienced in the Montrose, I thought. But the way the race was run didn't suit her at all. And yet she still won comfortably. I think she's very high class, really. And I've availed myself of some 33 to 1 for the Oaks.
Yeah, Smocken. Obviously, to win a Montrose, she's run to a higher level than the Nottingham win. But at the same time, I still think there's more to come because I don't think it was ideal for her. She had to make her own pace.
No, they haven't had the big yet.
I know it sounds daft, she's won, but I think you can draw a line through that. If people say, well, she's unimpressive, I just don't think that was her bag.
And another plus, of course, she's won on bad ground, which I know it sounds ridiculous for a Midsummer Classic, but we know what happened at the Oaks, don't we?
Well, it's never good to firm on day one, is it?
No.
As we know. It's no good looking for a daisy cutter
No.
to win an Oaks these days because the clerk will definitely make sure it's on the easy side of good going into Derby Day, particularly if the temperatures on the Saturday are quite high. So, absolutely, John, you need a bit of cut. And you expect to see her either at Chester or Lingfield, don't you?
Yeah, I'm hoping Lingfield.
Yeah.
If she turns up at Lingfield, I might top up before she runs.
Good stuff. So, JW, hope that boosts you there. Nick, anything for you?
I would just say one bit of warning about Lake Victoria. If you look at Aidan O'Brien's 2-year-old winners at the Breeders' Cup, none of them have ever won a classic. The only two who ever won a classic were Anthony Van Dyke and a filly, which I've got the name of, none of them won at the Breeders' Cup. I thought it was unusual he kept her going right through the autumn, and I don't know which one, but the one that winters best to come out. It's unusual for his classic fillies that he runs them that much at the end of the season and sends them to America. So the 5-2, I'd look to take her on.
Good stat.
She's going to be 5-2 at Easter anyway, isn't she?
Yeah. So, John's Oak selection stands out then for the Bar Stewards. Andrew Cawthorne, been on. Will any jumps jockeys forget the whip rules and take a ban if they have the chance of winning the 10 Grand Nationals prize money in the DPJC? Wouldn't you lose the points if you lose the race afterwards?
You have to go no 10, don't you? So technically you've got 9 up your sleeve, haven't you?
Well, you're going to hit it 9 times, aren't you, if you need to?
Yeah.
I think a lot of them would struggle to count to 10, man. It could get a bit fuzzy, couldn't it?
If the brains were made of dynamite, they wouldn't have enough to blow the skull cap off.
They wouldn't put a part in them, would they?
Yeah.
I can't have them counting. If you're going to try and win a national, you just thrash it, don't you?
Yeah.
Whip it, lash
Cut
it,
it in
bash
half,
it.
yeah.
You respond to the crowd that's all shouting Hitler fucker, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Go on, carve it in two.
All these people that talk about optics, I don't know where they're watching racing. If they ever stood on the steps of a grandstand anyway.
No, even the blogger's done that. He's been videoed, and he blogger in past when he's done his selfies and he's saying, hit it, hit it.
Which is legit, because everybody says that, don't they? If there's a few quid involved, your sensibilities go out the window.
Well, I must admit, as a full-time backer myself, you're watching racing, and then they get to second last, and it's still hands and heels with somewhere, and I'm screaming at the screen. I'll say, he's not gone for it yet. Give it a smack.
Yeah, go and get after it, yeah.
Do you ever look at the screen at an angle, see if you can favour yours?
Draw it out, you stand side on, don't you? Go on, your head goes back as they get nearer the post, don't you? Go on, you fucker, go on, go on.
Your head tilts. You're right.
Yeah, you do. You lean at sort of 45-degree angle, don't you, eventually? You say, go on, as trying to draw it out, aren't you?
Do you know what? That's why I reckon I'm one at worst photo finish judging.
You're laying on the floor by the time you get to the post, aren't you?
Your head's going away to favour you on the line. Like, we got it. Have we got it? 103, the other on Betfair. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes, all those imploring the second to fuck off is always on. Go on, fuck off. Yeah.
In fact, I'll even state a fact here. The producer, he's probably better than me at photos. I think she gets more right than I do.
Like Alex Bird, she keeps very still right on the line. Yeah.
Well, that's it. She's got no skin in the game. Well, she wants mine to win, but
She wants you to win, yeah.
But she's just sat there and goes,
no skin in the game. She starves to death with the old lady.
Yeah.
I'd say she's got a lot of skin in the game.
Soup for a month, like October was for us. October was fucking dreadful. He was like the gulag in here.
Packet soup. Yeah.
We actually did an inventory. We had to go through the cupboards and count tins of soup and things like that. And
dishcloth soup's delicious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ring it out. Yeah. Peg the tea bags out on the line. That's good for another couple of cups, isn't it? Yeah.
Good question, Andrew. I think we've answered that one in terms of if there's cash involved, they're going to do what they have to do without losing the race, etc., etc. Next question is on Twitter tipsters. What's the worst Twitter tipster call of the year you can recall, or Twitter post in general? He mentions someone's plot job. I don't follow him. Somebody called Frank.com. I've no idea who that is.
He's blocked me, I think. It's one of the many that's blocked me because I think he's sort of a chancer like a lot of these guys are. So
Right. I'll be honest, I'm terrible for answering this question because I see a lot of Twitter boomers and stuff like that, but I don't pay any attention or any notice.
Was it early this year, the blogger with his Waitrose shopping on a 1-6 shot?
Yeah, I think you're right. It was something like that. But I
He's saying, I'm going to get the Waitrose shopping. He's at about 120 or 180 on his 1-6 shot on Exeter, cruising along. Boys, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah. Again.
It's like everything, isn't it? The Twitter tipsters, what they do, if some of them have got subscription models, what they'll do is they'll make sure they boom every winner and make out that everything's rosy, when in fact it never is. It's a terrible game. It's a dreadful game. That's the sad reality, really, in terms of tipping service trying to attract punters, because you've got 6 bets to impress them. And if you don't do it in that 6 bets, you draw a blank, they're gone.
But I think those guys, though, you're right, and that's the right attitude to take. But a lot of these guys are just looking for constant turnover, aren't they? They're looking
Yeah.
for a fresh batch of people that are attracted by the last sort of couple of posts that, highlight X number of winners. They'll sign up, they'll be disappointed within sort of 2 or 3 weeks, but that's fine because there'll be another batch coming along. It's kind of like the bookmaker business model, isn't it? Lots and lots of £10 lads type punters. They're there for the long run, but for lots of different clients. So their client loyalty, I would imagine, would be nil, wouldn't it? Their longevity of clients. So I think their turnover will be immense, but there's clearly enough punters out there for them to carry on, isn't it?
I think that's it. You've done that pretty well, Chris, in terms of churn and burn.
Yeah.
You churn the members, you get them interested because you've just tipped one that's 3s into 5 to 4 and pissed off.
Yep.
And they think, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when they eventually gas them, it's like, right, we'll wait for the next 3 into 5 to 4 and
Absolutely
get them all in again.
And you'll get a new batch in, or you'll get people that will dip their toe back in the water. Maybe I was hasty to sort of cancel because he's back in form again. And it's sort of rinse and repeat, isn't it? And well, I don't know, but clearly they must be making some money on it for them to justify keep going. It is terrifying, isn't it, how easy people are gulled into joining these sorts of services.
Yeah. The sad thing is that, as we know, it's really boring in terms of return on investment because if a savings account pays 4%,
Yeah.
the best we could probably do on Edge, we do exceed it sometimes, but we expect about 10% return on investment. Early bird's a bit different. We probably expect 40% on the early bird service. And obviously it's well exceeding that. But I think in time it'll balance out.
And it's obviously acknowledges the fact that the stakes are limited. So it's not a license to print money, but as you say, it pays for subscriptions and extras, etc., doesn't it? But you see, the point is, I think we've made before, Lee, that people have no concept of what represents successful punting, right? So I don't know what Patrick Veach's ROI is, but I think if people knew how low it is in compared to what they think, well, that's shit. Because I think a lot of people think professional punters like Veach sort of an 80% strike rate. I really do think that they think that. And I think anything below that is shit.
Well, look at Tony Bloom on football.
Yes, good example.
2%.
2% of an awful lot of money is still an awful lot of money, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But if you're betting, I don't know, 50, 60 quids, overall you think, well, that was not worth it. I've made fuck all. Well, actually, you've done really well, but it's all relative to stake, isn't it?
Mm. So if ever you see any Twitter tipsters saying that they make fortunes, they don't.
They're lying.
This is a complete lie. I'll tell you that now. I'll save you all the time and bother. Thank you, Paul, for the question. Blogger's really funny to follow in terms of when he has his big odds-on shots that get turned over and things like that. And we all have a laugh at his expense, but that's what account he's become. Final racing question from Brian O'Mara. He says, "Hi, guys. I am a Haydock Park member. There is no dress code and several midweek meetings, no segregation of sections. I have asked why they cannot do a Tattersalls members badge, just a different colour, and say, unlike the county badge at 450 quid, do it at 299 quid. Try and get more sold, plus at that price, people wouldn't mind if they could not make every meeting. I've sent them a message, but no reply as yet." Listen, tracks need to do more in terms of season tickets. We love the Go Racing in Yorkshire one as a podcast because of the value it offers. And it's the same thing. Chris has said on numerous Sunday shows about the older guard and National Trust people like that. They should be getting like marketing campaigns going and saying, look, this is what it costs you to attend every Haydock meeting. It might be £600, £700 or something for the year, whatever. You can have it for £300. They like value, especially if you give them their own bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Little cubby hole to sit and relax in, because most will be ancient. Need a sit down.
Yeah. Exactly. Sell it almost jokingly, get away from the wife for just 300 quid.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You would get that kind of people because they've got time on their hands. Some will have disposable income. It's an opportunity for them to just have a day out, experience a new kind of sport, and maybe make friends in the process. I just don't get the obsession with constantly looking for a younger audience that don't have the money and don't have the time.
Now, a season ticket for racetracks, I think every track should have one for all enclosures, and to entice people into trying to save money at a time where tracks will be under pressure in the coming years ahead. John, thoughts on that?
I think it's an excellent idea, to be honest. I don't see why they wouldn't take it up that go,
because it's an excellent idea. That's why.
Yeah, I was really stupid there, wasn't I? If they had forward-thinking people, they'd have already done that one.
Yeah, they would.
Indeed.
But it's a good idea. But
Second half of the show, folks. And this is the time where we tell you how to do Christmas. Well, I don't know if we will, but you never know. Let's give it a crack. And also going through some of your questions. So, a general Christmas question before we come on to the cookery slot. Lee Busby's been on. Thank you, Lee, for all your support. As Barsters, you're a long-term subscriber and we value your custom. He says, is that time of year again when people buy calendars as gifts because they can't be asked to think of anything decent? With that in mind, who would be in your 2025 Calendar Girls calendar? For which month and why? Must be racing related. So that's the fucking Minogues out, John.
Yeah.
Suggest maybe a consensus response due to time restrictions.
David O'Meara staff did a calendar, didn't they, for Macmillan?
Did they cloth off?
I looked at the calendar. It was really, really good.
how good was it, Nick? You're not enthusiastic. Was it really, really good?
I've got it hidden.
Yeah. The sort of women you could really cherish. Is that what you mean?
So I'm nominating Natasha Nelson for December
gold.
because everyone likes a bird on Christmas Day.
Hey! You can hear all the misogynist bastard cunts, you know.
Yeah.
For that one. No, I absolutely agree. For me, I think I'd try and create John one.
Fucking hell.
You know when you make one?
No one agrees with you, but
Yeah, you could have pronto print or whatever you call them and have a personal one made.
of you.
No, if it were possible, I'd go around trainers like Venetian, long boots on,
Ooh.
knee length,
Ooh.
things like that. Yeah,
Perversion.
yeah.
Sexual deviance 2025.
Calendar for John, 12 women.
Rebecca Curtis in a soccer outfit.
Yeah, Rebecca Menzies would be on there as well.
You reckon they like that, dear? Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
I don't want to get on racing creeps. I'm saying nothing, because I don't view women that way, unlike you, like fucking objects. I think it's disgusting, disgraceful.
Well, it's our fault that we've got F1 girls banned from grid.
Yes.
We've got the darts girls banned from walk
Yeah.
on. And it's people like us that really need absolutely put in prison.
Taking in hand.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Well, I say they've banned all that, but nobody's playing hell about Kate Tracy in her shorter skirts on a Friday night, have they?
No.
Well, I think she has her own sort of following, doesn't she? Of sweaty middle-aged men.
Possibly.
Chris, do you think Kate Tracy plays up to that a little bit?
Of course she doesn't. Absolutely. She's completely blind to the thirsty comments that, of course, she loves it, doesn't she? Honestly, yeah, it's part of the marketing shtick.
It's got her another job, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it has. Absolutely right. I mean, she's very busy. She's got a kind of prolific presenter. So, yeah, clearly. It is very contrived, I would say. It's those pictures are posted with one intention in mind, and that is to farm engagement. So, if it works for her.
I'm expecting her to be in Panto this year.
Puss in Boots, yeah. Oh no, that's got me on racing creeps. But oh no, strike that, edit that out.
No. Producers, no.
Deary me.
Yes, that's it. You're in with us now.
Yeah, Phil.
You're one of the misogynists.
The Weimar Republic group, yeah.
You vile man, you.
Yes.
Food time, definitely. Of course, this time of year is probably why this time of year is any good, really, because as British people, we do tend to up our game when it comes to Christmas menus and things like that. We do like to get some decent food in at least once a year. If the purse strings allow it. John usually makes do with roadkill most of the year. But John, I know you're going to a friend's on Christmas Day. But I want to know if you've got anything planned for yourself to give you a really good meal at home.
I've got a goose ordered for
A goose?
I will be performing on a goose.
Fucking hell. Wearing a top hat, yeah. Trying to find the penny. Ooh, it's revolting.
I could just see John tucking into these massive goose he's prepared. I'm going to ask him how he's going to cook it in a minute. I'm going to come to Nick. I'm quite surprised you're a massive fan of a roast. So you, Christmas Day, what's on your table Christmas?
First of all, Chris Paul, your cheese. Epoisses Gaugry, spelled Epoissesgaugry. It's a soft French cheese that the urban myth it is so smelly It
Ooh.
got banned from the Paris metro.
Fucking hell.
Oh, dirty bastard.
I've had it a couple of times.
Paris Metro fucking stinks to start
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
You want to have it sort of pretty soon. You don't want to leave it hanging around too much. My wife banned me from it. That, if you want soft, strong, smelly. But Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never cooked a turkey. I think turkey is one of the most tasteless dishes going. This year, I'm going to go back to duck. And I recommend everyone spatchcock the bastard. It's much easier. And it's very easy to do. Just cut up each side of the bone, break the backbone, and spread it out.
It's Ted Bundy, that, isn't it?
No, I'm not shagging it either.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. We'd lost you there for a moment. Yeah.
Break the skin all over, as Ted would do. Rub salt, pepper, and I mean sea salt when I'm talking here, lads. You can either use paprika or spice, 5 spice. So use the dry rub first and then stick it in the fridge overnight. Take it out, gas mark 3, on a rack. You can do this, you can have it actually on a rack with your pan underneath to catch the juices, to do your roasties in. And then you have a wet rub. You can have orange juice with a bit of ginger squeezed in or cranberry. You want a cup of that, half of that of red wine vinegar, brown sugar, cinnamon, and a big blob of marmalade. So you heat that up, simmer for a while. You want the duck in on low for a couple of hours. Get that rub, let it cool down so it thickens a bit. Rub that over, wrap it in foil so you've got a nice little parcel. Do the spuds. And if you're doing stuffing, I do sage and onions, you normally do it, but crumble chorizo into it. Bang that in for 20 minutes. So easy to carve that duck as it is. Serve it with gravy from the duck, and that's it. That's my Christmas main meal.
Fucking be fucking July by the time we got through all that. Christ, what? Honestly.
That sounds superb.
It does sound superb, doesn't it? That sounds.
Yeah.
I think it might be beyond the skill set of most of our listeners, I think, or are guessing. Sort of.
Mainly me.
No, I don't know. I think it's quite technical, it sounds there, Nick, but it does sound tremendous, doesn't it?
So what's happening in the Malvo household?
Oh, fucking McDonald's, mate.
What bird do you have on Christmas Day?
Turkey, but you're right, Nick. No one ever in a restaurant outside of Christmas has ever actually asked for turkey, have they? It's a uniquely festive dish, but I think we follow the Phil Vickery recipe, which can cut the cooking time down considerably and retain what tiny amount of moisture naturally exists in the turkey. So I haven't had many dry turkeys over the years. I think you cover it in foil and boil the fucker, I think, for 2 hours effectively, then take the foil off and roast the top for half an hour. If I had a choice, I certainly wouldn't be having turkey, but I'm outvoted, so I'll follow your lead on this.
John, back to your goose. Tell me what is going to accompany your goose. How are you going to cook your goose? And any advice for listeners on a really good goose?
I keep it very traditional, actually. I would always suggest you order from a proper butcher or even a local farm if you don't mind doing a bit of plucking or whatever. I keep the actual cooking of the goose very, very simple. The day before, I would salt all the skin, leave it in a cold place overnight, wipe all that off before putting it into a hot oven with the skin pricked all over with a fork to let the fat out for the roasties. Start off on a high heat, that's about 8 or 9, for half an hour. Then drop that right down to about a 3. Basically, just keep an eye on the fat rendering out. Once the skin is rendered nicely, use a skewer to test that the bird's done. And I would tend to serve braised red cabbage and roast potatoes, roast parsnips. Got to be apple sauce, really, with goose.
Yes, absolutely. Agree with that.
Do you have the roasties around the goose?
They'll be in a tin underneath the goose. Once you start accumulating goose fat in a tin underneath the goose, crack on with your spuds. I mean, the important thing really is the pre-cooking of the spuds.
Yeah.
You've got to boil them until you're actually worried that you're going to have a pan of potato soup.
Yes, exactly right.
Producer subscribes to that.
Absolutely dropping to bits.
Yeah.
Then you gently take them out with a slotted spoon. Dry them, ideally in the fridge, so they dry out and firm up.
Yeah.
Then into hot ghost fat with plenty of salt, and basically leave them alone for half an hour to get crusted up. Then go in with your fish slice or whatever, give them a good dig around, turn them over, another half hour. They will be the crunchiest and most delicious roasties you've ever had.
Lovely stuff. Loving this. We've got the best chefs on this show. We're not just racing judges, we've got chefs.
Greedy fat bastards, you mean? Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah.
But John's method for cooking the spuds is echoed, isn't it, John, by practically every Michelin chef that shares his knowledge with the plebs. They all say you've got to make sure that those spuds are dry, okay? Because if you don't pat them dry, you don't let them cool, because effectively what happens is they steam, don't they?
Yeah.
And you have to let all the steam go, and then you've got to get them in a hot pan, and that's how they crisp up. Else all you'll end up with steamed potatoes with a brown skin.
Have you ever tried putting some mustard powder on them?
Yeah, it wouldn't be wonderful with the ghost, but with beef, definitely.
Yeah.
If I was seasoning them up with anything funky for ghosts, I have this chicken seasoning from America called chicken shit. I kid you not. I can supply a photograph. You can get it on Amazon, and it is called chicken shit. And normally you would just sling it all over a lump of chicken before you air fry it or something.
Yeah.
A little dusting of that on the roasties, if you're having fowl, is rather nice.
Yeah, I don't cook, as you're probably aware, but the producer certainly does. The producers come up with 3 things for Christmas Day that certainly might improve your culinary experience. So mashed potatoes, peel and dice the potatoes. Peel, sorry. She's telling me now, peel.
I was going to say, I was thinking like little tiny cubes, like pearls. I thought, blimey, that's intricate.
I was like thinking knit one, pearl one.
Yeah. Cable stitch, all that. Yeah.
Peel and dice the potatoes into cubes. And again, like John says, and boil to the point of disintegration. John obviously made that point with the roasties. He says, drain the potatoes and put through a potato ricer.
Oh, yeah.
Add generous amounts of butter and salt and a dash of double cream.
Yep.
And you have the absolute perfect mashed potatoes. I can vouch for that because that's what she does me. Yorkshire puddings for you Southerners.
Oh, yes.
Well, why is it Southerners? Why is it? Do you not have that?
You lot just poo everything we do up here.
We don't. We just don't understand it.
Outside toilets and things like that.
Electricity is white man's magic, isn't it? You know.
Ooh, you make fire down there.
You make fire, big metal plane. He leave on plane, boss. Yeah.
So she said, Yorkshire puddings, make the batter mix using the freshest eggs possible.
Yep.
Yes.
Put in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Preheat the oven to 200 and put the oil in the tin and heat until spitting, absolutely spitting. Solid, crisp and dry, or lard works well as an oil.
Lard.
Remove batter from fridge and give another quick whisk before pouring into the tin and cooking for 25 minutes. Do not open the oven under any circumstances, as the puds will sink. And that's how you get big ones.
Can I add another tip in here?
Yeah, definitely.
If you want an absolute skyscraper Yorkshire, I mean, I tend not to do this myself because I think they look a bit silly. But if you want one to really rise and take off and impress everybody, an extra egg white just before they go in the oven.
Wow.
Okay, there you go.
Jonas Legge.
Discard the yolk, but an extra egg white.
We're not just doing this show just for shits and giggles. This is Greg Wallace. Fuck off.
If you have an easily impressed friend that are impressed by a large Yorkshire pudding, that's obviously the one to aim for. That sounds tremendous. And so an egg white just before it goes in the oven, is that what you say?
Yeah, the idea your batter's sat overnight in the fridge.
Yeah.
And all the gluten get going and that. But then at the last minute, before you put everything in, beat up an egg white and you shot that in, away you go, it'll take off.
Excellent.
Producer, I can see doing some skyscraper Yorkshire puddings over the next few weeks.
What about Aunt Betsy's? Where do we stand on Aunt Betsy's Yorkshires now? We love them down there.
Might as well have a packet of biscuits.
No.
Very Essex, that, Chris.
Aunt Betsy's in a fucking bag, innit? You know what I mean? In a fucking bag, he slags.
Fucking wasting my time to get fucking slags.
Fucking wallop, have some,
Right.
etc.
Sprouts. Which...
No.
No, sprouts are good with chestnut bacon.
Rory McAdory, he thinks sprouts are underrated. So the producer has said, she's swearing here. Again, like us, it's listening to us so much. She says, don't fucking boil them. They're rank if you boil them, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's heresy.
Prep the sprouts, drizzle in oil, balsamic vinegar and minced garlic.
Ooh.
Toss to coat evenly. Then lay on a sheet pan in a single layer and roast for 20 to 30 minutes until golden brown. Optional extras, add bacon, cube the bacon in with that, drain the grease and toss everything with the sprouts once cooked. And apparently the sprouts
Okay.
are awesome. I'm not a sprout man, but that's the producer.
I love sprouts. I think they're
That
tremendous.
sounds better anyway.
Never boil sprouts. If you're boiling sprouts, you're doing it all wrong, folks. So,
Nah, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Boiled sprouts are one of nature's gifts. I love sprouts. Always have done.
yeah, you just love farting and stinking all in-laws out when they come round.
Think the place out.
Yeah,
And my cheese tip for Chris Paul is fucking Triangle of Dairy Lee. Can't get better than that, honestly.
okay, then we'll come on to Chris Paul, and he's asked for a cheese. Now, producers chimed in again, and she recommends the horseradish cheddar. It leaves a nice peppery aftertaste. An alternative will be the Aldi German smoked cheese slices with jalapeno. It certainly makes for a decent day. If you like your blue cheeses, John, you've got a decent blue cheese, haven't you?
Well, I've been sort of checking out a few other ones, actually. I've got another one for you.
Ooh.
Actually, on the Cockthorne Bishop. And this is Stickleton. Stichelton.
Okay.
For a cheese to be called Stilton, it has to meet several guidelines. And it must be made in certain counties to a particular recipe. Blah, 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 blah. Now, the people that make this adhere to almost all of those, but he used unpasteurised milk, which gives it slightly gamier flavour. This meant he had to come up with another name, hence the Stickleton. But it is delicious blue cheese. It really is.
Top tip. I love your tips on cheese, Judge. There ain't one I've tasted that ain't blown me away. I like it. So we've had Nick's tip for Chris on cheese earlier on. The smelly French cheese that was banned on the French Underground. Chris, you said Dairy Lee.
Burger cheese and Dairy Lee, can't whack it, honestly. Mix them fuckers up.
Yeah.
I have to say, going slightly off topic, John is a terrific judge. And John, through our message group, recommended a rum called the Cracker. Was it dark cherry?
Vanilla and cherry.
That's it. And that is nectar. And I cannot recommend that more strongly to everyone. It's fantastic stuff. And I thank John solely for that recommendation. It's brilliant stuff.
There's a bottle of that gone in my Christmas cake.
Yeah, tremendous stuff.
I think the producers bought one as well. Yeah, that's got in her Christmas cakes as well. So it brings on nicely to Rory Swandell's question. A bar steward's Xmas cocktail. Between yous, you can come up with one, he says. He invented one in his youth, a Buckfast and Thunderbird. He called it a Thunderbuck. John, I reckon you could come up with a cocktail with your old Kraken.
Oh, I'm sure I could. Come back to me on that.
Nick, anything at Christmas cocktails that you...
I like red slowberry vodka, and I have to get it in Greece. Ursa's strawberries and grenadine with ice.
Nice.
That was one of my little tipples out there. I quite enjoyed when I wasn't on the Amstel.
Yeah, the good old Amstel. Yeah. Percentage Amstel, is that 5%?
Yeah, it wasn't brewed over here, and it tasted really nice over there. It's probably the heat as well, but I used to drink that one virtually all the time. I have got a pudding recipe for you. I think I've told you lads before.
Go on.
It takes a bit of doing, but get one of those really great big croissants.
Yeah.
And you want some apples diced up, and then you fry it in butter and cinnamon. You want some melted chocolate, and you want either walnuts or almonds. I've chosen walnuts because John hates almonds. And what you do is you bake the croissant, cut a hole in it, put the apples in there with a mixture, a couple of scoops of either vanilla or chocolate ice cream, and then you want some melted chocolate, drizzle that over, and then put the nuts on there. And you've got all those flavors. You've got hot, cold contrast. You've got the flakiness of the croissant. You've got the apples in there with the cinnamon, and you've got the melted hot chocolate on there and the cold ice cream. So you've got all those contrasts, and it's a really, really lovely dessert.
That sounds a signature dish to me. Incredible. They got all the flavors in there: chocolate, apple, cinnamon. Wow, that could be an awesome thing to do. But as Chris says, our listeners have not got the skills of that.
No, it sounds fabulous, but there's sort of people that buy cookbooks and saying, "Oh, we must try that one day," and then just put it away on the shelf, never to be read again.
Chris, a really easy one for you.
Yes.
If you're having a curry or takeaway, get some Greek yogurt, stick mango chutney in the Greek yogurt.
Oh, yes.
Whisk it around to your taste. See if you want more or less, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I love mango chutney. Whisk arch. You mean put a spoon round it and whirl it round? Because you're getting all technical now with the word whisk.
Yeah, all right, like that.
Yes, okay, sounds phenomenal. I'll try that.
Can I just chuck that cocktail in now? There?
You can, of course. Yeah.
It's called an Aunt Roberta.
Ooh,
So if you're lucky enough to have an Aunt Roberta still with you, give
yeah.
her one of these. You'll have a knickers off in 10 minutes.
if you're into incest, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
This is 100% alcohol, absolutely no mixers
Oh,
whatsoever.
that sounds brilliant.
Ah. He loves that.
One part of each: gin, vodka,
Yeah.
absinthe,
Ooh,
brandy, and blackberry liqueur.
absinthe.
Good luck, Aunt Roberta, with that one.
Yeah, yeah, it should be blind. I think half a glass of that.
Lovely that. I'd do half a litre of tank and then go on to that to finish me off before bed.
I think
Yeah.
Aunt Roberta will try and fuck the dog if she had one of them.
God.
Right, 4 questions to finish. One is from the producer, actually.
Ooh.
She says, what is the most underrated condiment? You've got one condiment.
Yeah.
It's a go-to, but it's not fashionable. What's the underrated condiment, Chris?
English mustard.
English mustard.
Grey mustard.
Yeah, grey mustard is a short head second for me. I think grey mustard is fabulous stuff. I love English mustard. I don't normally like sort of hot stuff, but I like English mustard on a lot of things. But grey mustard, I'm with Nick on that. That's really underrated. Beautiful stuff.
Good stuff. John?
I don't think I could add much to that, really. I think mustard is very, very underrated. It's sort of under the radar a bit these days.
Yeah.
But I make a lot of sauces and things, pan sauces, and I often put Dijon mustard in as a thickening agent.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. What's the producers? Oh, Hendo's Relish.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Liam Perrins, obviously, is the southern version. Idiots.
Yes, of course.
um,
not idiots. How dare you?
Yeah. Hendo's blinds Liam Perrins.
Actually, anchovy-free one, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's gentleman's relish? No funny jokes because it's not a pseudonym for sperm, but gentleman's relish.
You batter the crap out of anchovies and turn it into an anchovy paste, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Delicious.
Jason Jackson. He said he loves an Xmas dinner. He feels pretty decent at knocking one up, etc., etc. Roast these parts steamed, then shake it up in flour, loads of steak seasoning before goose fat and 20 minutes in the Ninja. He goes on about sausage stuffing. Any of you had sausage stuffing?
Yep.
Yeah, sausage, mate, and stuff.
Yeah, do you like that? Is it a good combo?
It's all right. I don't like stuffing really. It's neither here nor there.
No.
You have to be careful because it can overpower what you're eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're having fowl, unless it's a game bird, you're not talking strong flavours. So
You love a game bird, John.
I do, you're right.
Yeah, for a bit of stuffing. Yeah, stuffing a game bird. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
What are you gonna have for dinner though? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful on the flavour of the stuffing.
Yeah.
Go too far. And it should never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be served with beef.
No.
If I turned up and you were serving beef and there was stuffing on the plate, I would be aware.
Yeah, and he also loves his air fryer. Which one of you three have air fryers?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got an air fryer.
Yeah, John?
Yes, I have an air fryer. Yeah.
Yeah, right, 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. Oh, we have 3 out of 4. Yeah, of course we have. Air fryers are the future. Certainly improve things. Pork crackling does really well in air fryers.
It'll heat up all the insects they'll want us to eat next year, won't they? Because that's very good for cooking insects.
You can see that as articles, can't you, in The Guardian and that, saying,
You can.
air fryer's great for cooking cockroaches.
Cooking locusts or whatever, yeah.
Final 2 questions. Finn Nickel resorts to absolute gutter talk here, like we do, and we do it so well. What's your best shitter story after a good meal?
Ooh.
He said, here's mine. I went skiing in Austria and the entire hotel got gastroenteritis. There was shit on the walls, on the telly, everywhere. It was slightly more enjoyable than staying home and watching the jump season.
Who are these people?
I love Finn. Less embarrassing now. He works for Dragonbet.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
Dragonbet,
Poor
if you're
fucker.
listening.
Make sure he washes his fucking hands before he hands out them tickets, yeah.
Scatforb. Terrible from Finn Nickel. I'll tell you, Finn. And John was with me this night. It was the night after a York Ebor race, and we went in Pop World, John, and I went on the bull.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I went on the mechanical bull, and I think it rumbled a bit because after I got off it, I went upstairs. I think I was making people sick outside of my cubicle. Honestly, it smelt that bad. I had a chap walk in and he went, fucking hell, this is fucking unbelievably bad. Who's shit like this? I'm sat in there chuckling away. Oh, it was terrible. I've never smelled out like that. I would make people gip with that one. So that was mine.
Oh, right.
John?
I did have a touch of E. coli in the, in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I was confined to barracks, obviously, and day 2 I decided I had to get the doctor out because the whites of my eyes had gone yellow and I couldn't even keep water down. I actually had to crawl downstairs, couldn't stand up. I phoned the doctor, then crawled into the living room, crawled onto the settee. Doctor arrived about 3 hours later. Prodded and poked me a bit, and then he said, "Well, I'm not in the habit of prescribing drugs for this." And I always remember, I said, "Well, what are you going to do? Sacrifice a fucking chicken?" He said, "No," he said, "just keep drinking water. If you start throwing up blood, give me another ring." That would be my worst shitter story by a long way. I've never, ever been as ill due to bad guts in all my life, and I wouldn't
Jeez.
wish it on anybody.
Nick, you're always shitting yourself.
Well, all right. Here's a time I didn't make it.
Sponsored by Tenor, yeah.
It was 4th down and nowhere to go. I had some carpaccio. It must have been a dodgy in Piran in Slovenia, and I'm walking around the sort of harbour, and there was no bars around. There's restaurants. You can't really dash in a restaurant, and I got the rumble. I'm trying to walk home, and I must have looked some gaylord. You couldn't have got a 2p piece between the cheeks of my arse. You know when you're trying, and it was like Dallas Cowboys against the sort of San Francisco 49ers. It's desperation. It's 4th down. About 100 yards. I didn't make it. I had shorts on.
Oh, Christ.
Lucky there wasn't anyone around, apart from my wife, who was sort of looking at me like the shorts had to be sort of abandoned there. They were never used again.
Oh, good God. Chris, I'm certain you shit yourself. So
Well, do you actually, to be absolutely truthful, I've never shit myself ever.
ever.
Never, ever, 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 because I'm actually quite clean and hygienic, unlike you people. So, no, it's never happened to me. I always plan ahead. I suppose the closest I've ever come is when my mother, who was a stranger to kitchen hygiene and safe food preparation, she once cooked a joint of pork for me when I was a kid, pulled off, then she froze it and partially reheated it such that the centre was still had ice crystals in it. And I said to her, "Mum, I think this is frozen." She gave me a whack round the head and said, "Don't be so fucking ungrateful, eat it." So I ate this thing and I was in bed for like 2 weeks. I had listeria, E. coli, I mean, every conceivable bacteria entered my system. I've never been so ill before or since. Absolutely shocking. She used to store raw meat next to cooked meat, and her answer to everything was, "In the war, we didn't care about that sort of thing." Well, in the war, like millions of people died, but that didn't seem to trouble her. That was her philosophy.
Yeah.
Didn't bother. I remember once that when she was so fucking acquisitive, one of these people that just couldn't bear to see waste. So she went round to someone's birthday party, and her gentleman friend at the time went round the party and picked up people's plates and emptied it all into a bin bag, right? And she said to her, "That'll do for our tea tomorrow." And when she got to the end, another old woman said to her, "Oh, I think you've emptied my plate." And they actually had a fight because my mum thought she was going to go in the bin bag and rescue a bit of cake out of this bin. And she would have a stand-up row because she thought someone was pinching food. And this was like a big bag of slop. But she said, "Oh, no, you can pick the good food out of that. It'll be fine for a week." There you
Oh,
go.
jeez.
Oh, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible.
See, listeners, we've led terrible lives.
Oh, gruesome.
Matthew Bailey, the final question. Lee's hero of each has previously been on record stating his go-to Indian is a chicken shashik. Have any of the bar stewards ever tried that? What is the bar steward's go-to Indian? John, I'm coming to you because I think the best Indians are in Borough.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The ones in India are quite good, though, aren't they, as well? Fair play.
There's that many Indians in Borough. They're actually really good. Seriously.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
As you know, Lee, you've had takeaways at our local Akbars and so on and so forth for Christmas, haven't you? I would say my go-to would be the chili chicken booner from Mojo's in Dunsop.
All right.
That's a beautiful curry, that. It's just got a nice back heat to it. It doesn't grab you by the throat and strangle you.
You've never been one for mega spice, have you?
No, I don't like the super hot stuff. I do like the starter that they do at Akbar's, the liver tikka, which is a curried chicken liver and onions with a mint yogurt dressing. That's really nice.
What I find in Borough is that the Indians there, it's hotter than elsewhere. If
Yeah.
you have a Madras and a decent Indian in Borough, I bet you it's hotter than a Madras in York.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
It just is. It's like spicier. They do a lot more spice in Borough. But yeah, I would say my go-to is a decent Madras. What's the hottest anyone's tried?
I tried a foul once when I was drunk. Never
Oh.
again.
No.
Uh,
My one I like is Jupiazza. I like the onion one, so it's got to be done well.
Don't you find Indian is a big constrict? I think it's so one-dimensional. All Indian to me tastes the same, and I've eaten at some West End Indian joints, Chutney Marys, and all that, which is meant to be the last word in Indian sort of cuisine. I think it all tastes the same. Is it just me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it all tastes just fucking red hot. It's inedible. Everything's just smothered in spice. I think one dish is indistinguishable from another.
it was your upbringing, Chris.
It must be eating out of a bin bag, party food cake mixed with fucking roast pork. Yeah, it must be. I just don't get it. I think it all tastes the same. The only difference I can determine is just the degree of heat. It's either mild or fucking red hot.
Yeah.
Best curry I ever had was in the Seychelles. It was an octopus curry, and it was out of this world.
Was it? Octopus is quite nice, but don't you think currying everything ruins it? I mean, curry was originally, I think, a preservative, wasn't it, to stop food going off? So they used to sort of smother it in.
This was definitely spiced as well, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I shall bow to your greater knowledge, but I think it's all shit. There you go. That's my view.
What a perfect way to finish the show. It's all shit. And of course, it's not
Yes.
totally shit, as it never
No,
is.
not totally
on this
shit.
show.
No,
I
no,
hope
it's
you
not.
enjoyed that, and we hope we've given you some culinary Christmas tips there to make your Christmas taste that little bit better and keep you off the pan. That's all from us. That's me, John, Chris, and Nick bowing out for now.